Hey everyone, today we're jumping into a C++ feature that's all about working smarter, not harder. I'm talking about function templates. Let's dig into how this awesome tool helps you write code that's cleaner, way more efficient, and so much easier to reuse. So if you're a C++ dev, you've totally been here. You write this fantastic function, it works like a charm. And then you realize you need to do the exact same thing, but for a totally different data type. So what do? You copy, you paste, you change the type name over and over again. It's a total drag, right? And this whole situation, well, that's what I call the repetition problem. It's such a common trap, and it leads to code that's just bloated and a nightmare to maintain. But don't you worry, there is a much, much better way. Okay, so check this out. Let's say you write a function to print an array of integers. Simple enough. Then you need one for an array of characters. You end up with two separate functions, but look closer. The core logic, the loop, the way it's formatted, it is absolutely identical. The only thing that's different is the data type you're feeding it. This kind of copy-paste job is the real heart of the problem. And this is where it really starts to get messy. Oh, now you need to handle doubles? Guess what? That's a third function. And what if you decide to change the output format? Maybe you want dashes instead of commas. Well, now you have to hunt down every single one of those functions and edit each one. It's super inefficient and, honestly, a perfect recipe for introducing bugs. So, how do we break out of this copy-paste edit cycle? Well, C++ gives us a way more elegant solution. Let's talk about a more generic way to think about this. The whole solution is wrapped up in this idea called generic programming. And the concept? It's actually pretty simple, but it is so powerful. We write our code, our algorithms, in terms of types that are, to be specified later. This lets us build these flexible blueprints that can work with all sorts of different data types. We're talking more reusable, more writable, and most important of all, way more maintainable code. And the magic wand C++ gives us to make all this happen is a special keyword you've probably seen floating around: template. This little word is the key that unlocks the entire world of generic programming in the language. The real magic starts with this bit of syntax right here: template type name T. That capital T is the star of the show. See, T isn't a real data type. It's just a placeholder. Think of it like a variable, but for a type. It's a stand-in for int or double or char that the compiler is going to fill in for us later. All right, enough with the theory. Let's see how this actually works and use it to solve our original print array problem once and for all. And boom, this is where you really see the power. All those separate, nearly identical functions we had before, they just collapse into one single, elegant function template. We write the logic just one time, and the compiler does all the heavy lifting for us. It automatically creates the specific versions we need, for integers, for characters, whatever, the moment it sees us using them. And here's what that code looks like. By starting with template typename T, we can define our function using T as the type. So when we call print array with an integer array, the compiler just swaps out every T with int. Call it with a character array, it swaps T for char. It's one piece of code with endless possibilities. And by the way, this is the exact principle that powers the entire C++ standard template library, the STL. Now, templates are incredibly powerful, for sure, but they aren't magic. Sometimes the generic logic you write just doesn't quite work for a specific data type, and we need a way to handle those exceptions. So what happens when that generic template actually causes a problem for certain types? Let's take a generic is-equal function that just uses the double equals operator. It would work perfectly for integers or doubles, no problem. But what if you pass it to C-style strings? It's not going to compare the text. It's going to compare their memory addresses, and that's a huge logical bug. Definitely not what you wanted. The fix for this is something called template specialization, and here's a great way to think about it. The general template is like the main highway that works for most cars, most types. But for a special case, like our C-style strings, we build a special exit ramp. It's a specialized version of the function that tells the compiler, hey, for this specific type, const char, ignore the main highway and use this custom-built logic instead, which in this case would correctly use a function like strcmp to compare the actual string content. Okay, there's one other edge case. What if the compiler just can't figure out what T is supposed to be? I mean, look at a function like getInput. It has no parameters, so the compiler has zero clues. If you just call getInput like that, the compiler will just throw its hands up and give you an error. In these spots, we have to spell it out for the compiler using these angle brackets, like getInputInt brackets. So all of this brings us to a really important question. When should you use a template, and when should you stick with good old-fashioned function overloading? Let's break it down real quick. You use function templates when the core operation is identical across all the different types. A sum function, for example, it just adds things up, right? Doesn't matter if they're integers or doubles, the logic is the same. Now, you use function overloading when the operations are only conceptually similar but actually need different logic. The classic example is the plus operator. For numbers, it means addition. For strings, it means concatenation. Same symbol, totally different job. So the key takeaway is actually super simple. Use templates when you have one algorithm that works for a bunch of different data types, and use overloading when you have different algorithms that just happen to share the same function name. That's it. It's the difference between having identical logic versus just a similar purpose.
At the end of the day, templates are a tool for abstraction. They let us write one set of instructions that can apply to so many different situations. It's all about thinking in more general terms, and that's what leads to more robust, more maintainable code. So the question I want to leave you with is this: where else can you apply this powerful idea of abstraction in your own projects? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.